Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. Today we're going to be working on this junk journal that we completed last week. The cover, the signatures, the spine, you know, we've done all of that last week. And now we're just going to continue on with some more decorations inside the book, maybe the spine dangle, a couple of things that I wanted to do on the cover. So let's just go ahead and get started. I want to talk to you guys about making spine dangles. Spine dangles can be made, it's just spine jewelry, right? So I put this little notch up here at the top and included an eyelet, and then in the eyelet I added this little, it's like a little pin. It closes like a pin, so I guess that's what we're calling it. So I'm just gonna like squeeze the inside right here and push it in just like a little safety pin and close it up. But hanging from it will be lots of cute little things that I have here on my desk, right? So I just basically took a bunch of things and added like this right here. This has like a bunch of beads inside of a little jar, right? So that can go on my spine dangle. I have here a paper bead, right? I learned to make this from Pam at the Paper Outpost, I believe, or yeah, I think it was Pam. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's say Pam at the Paper Outpost showed us how to make these little paper beads, and I'm going to show you guys how I do mine as well. And I also have some other bead hanging on a chain type of thing that I can also add to my spine dangle. So let me move my book out of the way and we can get started on some paper beads, because that's what I want to add to my spine jewelry. I have this book right here, right? I got this for $5 in Alaska, of all places, Ketchikan, Alaska. And this book is so nice and old and vintagey, and every page is super delicate. But I'm not going to read this book. It says With This Ring by Emily Loring. But I am going to use every page in here because it's so nice and old and it's awesome. So here's what the book looks like. I mean, these pages are, it's a gem. I pulled one page out of the book, and every page is going to be extremely crispy and fragile. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear along the spine of the book, or the spine of this page. Look at this. It's so fragile. I don't even know if I'll be able to use this. It's very fragile, guys. Let me just rip it off that way, and then I'll rip off this side over here. It might be easier to do it with more page. Let's hope. Okay, yeah, so that worked out. So all I'm gonna do at that point is just, let me try to even up this side. So all I'm gonna do really at this point is just roll this page up to make a a book page, what do you call it? A book page, gosh, what is it called? A book page bead. Okay. So yeah, this is so crispy. It might not work, guys. These pages are so old and fragile. It might not work. So I'll give it a try. Let me see if I can get a pencil around it and try to roll it that way. And what I'll do, in between each roll, I'll add a little bit of glue. So maybe it'll have something to stick to as it rolls up. This is sketch. Like, I'm not even sure if it's gonna work or not, but I'll give it a whirl. But yeah, I just love the old vintage pages of the book, and I thought it would make a great little bead jewelry. I mean, book page jewelry, or spine dangle as we call it. So yeah, let's just see what happens. Using a pencil does help, and of course you can always just roll your pencil right out of it, no problem. But yeah, I'm just trying to get it as close and as tight as possible to and I'll just tear off this edge because we don't need that. That edge was blank on the other side. So let's go with this. All right, and I'm using this is PVA glue, which is just like regular glue, school glue, something like that. It's not anything that's super strong or anything, but it will hold your projects together. It's paper glue basically. So after I've done this, I'm just gonna let this sit and dry for a moment. And we are going to use some wire. This is 18 gauge wire. I paid 98 cents for this at Walmart, so it is available. 18 gauge is probably the thinnest I would go. 20 gauge is way too thin. 16 or 14 is probably ideal, but I have 18 right here, and 16 is definitely ideal, and I believe that's what I have here on this one. It's probably 16 gauge, but I'm gonna use this 18 gauge. So basically, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. The lower the number, the thicker the wire. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty much what it is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this off. I have plenty of this stuff, so I'm not really worried about wasting any of it. But what I want to do is wrap it around my bead. This I'm calling now a bead because it's a paper bead. It's a paper bead, and we're using it in the form of a bead. So I'm just going to wrap this around the bead. I'm going to wrap it a little bit tighter than I did this one. This one only has like 3, maybe 4 wraps on it. I'm going to wrap it a little bit tighter. What I'll do is I'll place my pencil back in there to give me something to hold on to as I wrap this up. So let's get this right at the edge. I hope you guys can see this. And I'm just going to wrap it on an angle all the way down the side of the bead. So yeah, this is a much thinner gauge bead, wire. Therefore, you can use it a lot more in this regard, where you can just like wrap it onto, let's say, a pencil, for example, because it's thinner and it doesn't really have that much resistance, whereas a thicker wire or a thicker gauge wire would have a little bit more resistance. And then from there, that's pretty much all it is. I'm just going to bend it upward from here, give it a little bit of a bend, and then bend it on the other side from here upward. Give it just a little bit of a twist, and then you can add round beads. I added square round beads on these, so yeah, you can just add beads to it from there, and then you have yourself a little bit of spine jewelry. Okay, so let me go grab a couple of let me see, I want to put maybe I'll put just one bead here at the top and just do a curly Q down at the bottom to attach it to other things on the spine jewelry. Let me go grab a bead and I'll be back in 2 ticks. So here I have my little jar of pearlesque beads. I think I'm gonna go with something like that, maybe a purple, just to mix up the color, you know, the tone a little bit, because these beads kind of look just like the paper, you know. Maybe I'll go with a purple bead. Sure, why not? Or maybe I'll do an extra small little white pearl if I can get one out. There we go. So so let's try that and see where that's where we end up. So you don't have to use old book page, like if you don't have any vintagey old book page. I just want to show you guys the alternative. This is just a calendar piece of paper. It's from an old calendar, 2023. Instead of tossing this, what you can do is the exact same thing that I just did, and just tear it along. Let's just tear it right here. Okay, and roll this up. You can either roll it on this side, which would make a pretty interesting something, or you can roll it up on this side, you know, where the Christmas tree was. But I think I'm going to roll it onto the calendar side. And as I roll it, I just add a bit of glue, give it something to adhere to. So yeah, again, it doesn't have to be old vintagey paper. It can be magazine paper. It can be old calendars, whatever you have on hand, guys. Like, don't stress yourself about not having, you know, Emily Loring's book from Ketchikan, Alaska, which I just happened to pop into that bookstore while I was visiting Alaska, and I saw this book. It was sitting actually outside in their lower priced book section, and yeah, I just picked that up because why not? It looked nice and vintagey. So from here, if your page starts to go awry, you just roll it out and straighten it up, because all of it is going to be covered, right? It's all going to be hidden eventually. So let's just roll this up again. And don't forget to add your glue, because that's important. Just add a little bead of glue as you go along. So yeah, it can be any kind of paper, and this does not really, oh, there we go. Now we're seeing the calendar, right? I was gonna say, like, this is not showing much of calendar anything, but now we're seeing calendar right about there. So there, that would make a very interesting, can we focus, camera? Can we try to focus? That would make a very interesting little bead once rolled up. Sorry, my camera does not want to focus. Okay, anyway, that's that. Again, you don't have to use a bunch of stuff that you don't have. That's my point, basically. I'm just going to put this bead onto this 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to add all three of these. Let's add these three colors right there, and then you just take your wire and you twist it. You twist it around to make yourself a little hook, so that when you're ready to apply it to your spine dangle, you have yourself a little hook right there. You can add a jump ring to that, and you can just basically hang anything from it that you want. I'm not gonna add, well, let's add a bead at the bottom here. Let's add this one. I wasn't going to, but I realized that it could use some secure something at the bottom, so I just added that one little bead, and then I just twist it until I get myself a little ring down there at the bottom as well. Let me see if I can zoom in and you guys can take a look at that as my camera focuses. Move other things out of the way. Okay, so we just twisted that up and made ourselves a little hook at the bottom, and we twisted it up around a couple of beads and made ourselves a little ring at the bottom. Again, you can add jump rings to it. So this is a little jump ring. You can just add that to your to the bead itself, and then you can then add a bunch of other things to it after that, because whoops, once you have a jump ring on there, you can then add a bunch of other things to it. So the stress is not placed on this part of the bead, it's now placed on the jump ring. Okay, let me zoom you out because I know that was a little close and it probably took my camera forever to try to focus. But here we go. Here's a little bead that we can use on our spine dangle. Now I'm going to show you what I did. This is my completed spine dangle that I wanted to use on this particular book. Let me find the end here. So basically, spine dangles can be just about anything. It's any kind of jewelry that you would like to put onto the side of your book. I have here a little mini popsicle stick that says, "Be your own sunshine." I have on here a couple of lucky charms. This one says lucky, a little wishbone, and a 4-leaf clover. I also have on here keys and a little antique bronze heart. Okay. And on the other side says love. So there's that. And I have just a couple of bowl, what do you call those? Bulb pins. They're like shaped like little light bulbs, basically. And that's what I'm going to hang off the side of my book, okay? If this is too noisy for you, you don't have to go with all this metal jewelry and metal stuff. You can always use fabric, okay? You can tear a bunch of fabric, tear it into like little strips, and create little, you know, little flags from it or whatever, or you know, just little strips of fabric. And then also you can hang that from the side of the book as well, and that will be less noisy, obviously. But this is what my spine dangle is going to look like, just like that, hanging from the side of the book with maybe this new paper bead that we just made. All right, let's move on to the other option that I want, or the other item that I wanted to add to the front cover of the book. I'm going to use my crocodile for this as soon as I find it. Oh, here it is. So because I hung a bunch of beads and not beads, keys from my spine dangle, I wanted to put on here a front, on the front of the book, a little like keyhole. Okay, so with that, I just placed it anywhere on the front cover that I thought was centrally from top to bottom side, you know, and then I'm just going to, I marked it where I wanted to place my eyelets. I'm sorry, not eyelets, but my these are brads, by the way. it just came to me. I was calling them, like, I don't know, leg buttons, but they're brads. Anyway, I found a couple of brads that I wanted to use here on the front cover, so I just marked where I wanted to place this little, what looks like a key hole, and I'm going to add it to the front cover with a couple of brads. All right, and also I did find my antique bronze brads, so I replaced the two on the nameplate with the antique bronze ones. And again, you just push it through your hole that you've made, and then spread the little prongs open from one side to the other, and that's pretty much how a brad works, I guess. Right, so there's that, and let me grab another one. I thought this would look really cute on the cover as well. So yeah, you just spread the little prongs open, and it's secure at that point. So I mean, doesn't that look finished at that point? Like, I like that. All right, let me clear up this mess I have here. And on the inside cover, because now that I've added my keyhole and I have the book plate on there, here is the here are the brads that are on the inside that I need to cover up. Here is the little pockets that I wanted to add, and all of the ephemera that I'm going to use in the book. Here are this little pocket that I'm going to add right here on the front cover. So I figure I would use Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac to adhere this to the front cover. This way I know my brads will stay in place. And yeah, let's do that. Let me grab my, here's my Fabri-Tac. Fabrifix and Fabri-Tac, I'm assuming are almost the same. They're not, the variation is almost non-existent. But yeah, I think they're about the same texture, you know, type of glue, and they pretty much do the same thing as each other. Beacon Glue is the name of the company, Beacon. They also make like poster board glue. They make all these different types of other glues, and I pretty much think they're all of the same texture, same application. I don't think there's much difference in any of them. Mine is taking a little bit long to come out of the glue bottle, so of course I will fast forward this and get you guys along through the process while I do this. So that's the front cover all glued down. Let's go ahead and glue down the back cover pocket. So it's basically the same pocket. I made a duplicate of it, just facing the opposite direction. I do it this way so that if you put things into this pocket, it doesn't fall out of the book. So if I were to place this pocket over here, close the book, there's a good chance that whatever's in this pocket can fall out. So I place the slant for the pocket facing the spine. This way, if anything were to fall out, it'll just fall out into the book. Let's just go ahead and glue up this back side, the back side of the book, this little pocket right here. So I'm just gonna again use my Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac glue and just apply it to the pocket just like so. So yeah, initially the hole in my Fabrifix glue was not big enough, so I used my awl and just punctured a much larger hole into the glue bottle, and that worked out really well. So now my glue is flowing probably more than I needed to. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue this back pocket down. The good thing about Fabrifix glue is that whatever is like oozing off the sides, or if it gets onto your project, you just roll it up and wipe it away and it's fine. It's a silicone glue so that it doesn't stick to the surface of your project long term, unless you forget or didn't see it and never rolled it away. But yeah, if it gets to the point where it's sticking to the front of your project, you just roll it up like this and then just dust it off and it goes away. So it's perfectly fine. So basically guys, that's all I really wanted to do today, is just add my front embellishment, add these two pockets on here, front and back, and then talk about my spine jewelry. So at this point, I'm just going to take my little, spine dangle, and I'm going to get, let's get a jump ring on here so that I can add it to the rest of the spine jewelry. So it's a chain, basically. It's just a little chain, and I'm just gonna add a little jump ring right here at the end of this chain and connect it to the end of this chain. So I locked in the little it's like a little safety pin type of thing. I locked that in, and now I'm just going to add a little jump ring right there and close that up. When you're using jump rings, you want to twist and not pull it apart. So you twist it, you know, front to back, as opposed to prying it open that way, and that'll save the stress on your jump rings. So here is that. Here's my little spine jewelry. With a chain, you can add lots of little things on there. And then with these little bulb pins, you can just add whatever you like. Like you just keep adding things all the way up to the top of the chain, which is probably what I'll do. I'll add some more little creative things on there as well. So guys, that's about it. Like I totally had so much fun today in my craft room with you guys and showing you all the different ways to create spine jewelry. Again, if you don't have all these pretty metal things, you can always use fabric, right? So don't stress. And again, you know, just make it your own. You don't have to follow anything that I did here today. Just do your own thing. Whoops, did I drop that? I did. Here's the jump ring. Okay, so yeah, just do whatever you feel is working for you as far as your spine jewelry is concerned. But yeah, you don't have to overdo it, and you don't have to do too much. Like, just do whatever you think works for you. If fabric works for you, then use fabric. If you have all these little doodads and bits and bobs, then add those. And yeah, the only thing you don't want to do is just make sure that your jewelry doesn't hang lower than your book, so that if you were to place this on a shelf, it's not like dragging the jewelry behind it or whatever. So that's pretty much all we've got here, right? On my cover, I may just add a couple of these little guys. Seeing that I have my Fabrifix glue ready to go, it's like, it's really just dying to be used. So, so I'm just gonna add a couple of little tiny embellishments on the front cover. And that would include that. And another one that matches the cover is this guy, this little mustard colored flower as well. So I have the gray and the mustard color. That's it. All right, let's go ahead. Let me just show you. All right, that's what I just did. I just added these two little cute little flowers onto the front cover. Guys, I hope you guys have a super crafty day. Go do something wonderful. Like, go hang out in your crafting spaces and do something great. And yeah, stay naturally curious. And I'll definitely talk to you guys in the next video. All right, bye.